There's a weird coincidence, or not, maybe. Take all the angles of a cube. By angles, we are talking about degrees, basically, you take out a compass and you measure the degrees of each angle. So you take all those angles and you add them up, you will get the diameter of the moon in miles. Basically, a cube is equal to the diameter, how many miles across from the moon, left to right. Let's prove this. All right, so let's actually work this out. Every single angle, a cube is pretty easy to measure. Every single angle is 90 degrees, right? So we're going to start with this one side, and there are 4 90 degrees angles. Let's take 90, and we're going to multiply it by 4, right? And we get 360. There's also 360 degrees in a circle, but I will mention why I brought this up a little bit later, and also in the course. Now, how many sides do we have on a cube? Well, let's start by going around the cube. You have the top, that's one side. This is 2 sides. The bottom is 3. This side is 4. And then you have the front facing you, 5. And then you have the back side, 6. So 6 sides on a cube. Just like when you roll a dice, there's 6 possible outcomes that you can get. And a dice is a cube. So let's take this number, 360, which is how many total degrees is in one angle, and let's multiply it by 6 and see what we come up with, right? This is basically within 99, and I'm going to show you why, 99.96% accuracy of the moon's diameter. What are the chances? Maybe crazy coincidence. Maybe there's some hidden reason as to why such a thing is. But let's firstly prove that this is basically 99.96% accurate. Well, before I go into proving it, just look at these two numbers and how they're similar. We have 2, 1, and here we have 2, 1, right? And then the very next one on our calculation is 6, while this one is 5, 9. Just add 1 to 5, 9, and it will become the 60. Basically, it is off by 1 in a number that is basically has 4 digits. All right, cool. So that's one intuitive way. However, we're going to actually work out, how accurate is this actually, right? Cool. So I have the answer of I have the answer actually over here. A cube, degrees of a 4 cube is 2160, right? So I'm going to actually reference this when doing my calculation. So to get the how accurate this is, the moon is actually slightly smaller than the total amount of degrees on a cube. I'm going to start with the moon. I'm actually going to put in the size of the moon in terms of its degrees in miles. And then what I do is, let me just get out a pen. I want to actually draw. So I'm going to do a little fraction, right? And at the top, I'm going to have the moon, right? So I'm going to put a MO for the moon. You know what I mean? And then at the bottom, I'm going to have a CU for cube, right? I'm going to work out. Let's take the actual, diameter of the moon. And how close was it to the cube, right? How accurate it was. Meaning I'm going to take the diameter of the moon, divide it by that of the cube. So I've already put in the diameter of the moon. Now let's divide it with the value of the cube, which I have down here, 2160. Let's go 2160, and this will give the answer in terms of a decimal fraction. But to turn it into a percentage, we always multiply by 100, right? So as a fraction, it's 0.99. Now I'm going to multiply it by 100. And we find that it is 99.95% accurate. However, you see in my little thing over here, I did round up. Accuracy 99.96. See, I round up because this digit, the third digit, is an 8, right? So that just explains the slight difference between what is received on the calculator versus here. Isn't that crazy, right? What are the chances? Is it a coincidence or is it not? I don't know. Anyways, Well, actually, maybe I do, maybe I don't. You can find that out in, well, every Saturday, I'm actually going to be talking about these sort of topics, how, things like the radius of the moon multiplied by the perimeter of the pyramid divided by 10 is actually the circumference of the Earth, or how the pyramids are at the same coordinates of the speed of light, and many of these sort of things. So if you want to find out more about that, you can check out basically this Saturday or any other Saturday. I will be talking about this topic and going into it and describing it. It'll be a chance to meet me, ask me questions. You can sign this form over here, or you could go on this link over here. Password, basically capital A. I recommend just fill in the form over here before you click on the link. It's an online live video webinar that you can attend. It's every Saturday. In UK time, it's 5 o'clock. You might want to check what time that is in your local time zone, right? And it's a free webinar, but I do have a course on teaching maths in a very fun, gamified, entertaining way. I actually for a living, I teach classes over the internet, and a lot of my the people I teach are students that go to school. So I decided to do a maths course, but maths in a way that is more like playing a game than actually, learning. So I've put together, let's go up over here. I put together a maths course. Basically, they need to travel through this cave over here into the underworld, and they need to make it out safely. And it's not a easy thing to actually get out of the underworld. Not a lot of people actually get out of death, safely. Who's ever come back from death? However, you are going to be different, right? I will give you the keys to the exit. And that's basically what the course is all about. It's basically a game where you get stuck in the underworld and you got to find your way out. Need to pass through all the underworld's riddles and tests, and you basically enter into the hall of judgment in Egyptian mythology, where you have a set of scales, right? And basically, you need to get the scales to balance. You need to solve the problem there in order to get out safely back to the realm of the living and restore order to the universe. So that is basically your challenge, right? And this game, the rules are not random. They are all based off mythologies from all over the planet. You see, they tended to put a lot of things together, mythology, but also their maths was interwoven with their stories and their traditions. And the way this course program works is, as I teach you about maths, with every calculation they work out, they get a clue as to, one, how to get out of the underworld, but they also discover, unravel another part of the story. They're almost like a detective solving this puzzle. And with every single calculation, they find out these surprising things like what I've shown you here, and they use this information basically to get out alive, right? So yeah, that's my program. If you're interested, here's all the information over here. You can sign the form, you can go into the free webinar, you can ask me questions, all that jazz. See you in the next video, or I'll see you in, well, like live face-to-face on Saturday. All right, cool stuff.